All right, what's up, guys? Happy Monday. What's happening? All right, let's okay. Let's see. Should be good to go. Well. Another Monday. Yo, chat is bumping. What's good? All right, hi. We got Blip, Michael. What up, Seth? Got the West Coast, the Midwest in here, East Coast, South Side. Got everybody over here. Carlos, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo está mi gente? ¿Qué tal, Juan Carlos? ¿Cómo estamos, José Luis? Matés, ¿qué hay? ¿Qué hay? Seguimos. Emmanuel, ¿cómo estás? Eduardo, what's good? Champions League, what's up? What about it? What's up, Kev? Joseph? Zoe, what's good, bro? Where you been? Haiti. Oh, it's been a while. It's been a minute. How are you? Mailen, ¿qué tal? What's up? David. Hoy, esta es en inglés, la de español fue ayer. Roses are red. My MetaTrader is blue. Thanks for the education. I really appreciate you. Well, that's cute. That's nice. Thanks, man. Juan Carlos, ¿qué tal, bro? Jiménez en la casa. Happy Monday. What's up, Kimmy? Denise. OKC. Zoe, you disappeared on me, bro. Where you been? San Argentina. We got a nice little mix today. Good, good, good. Argentina's dialed in. Katie, what's up? All right, guys. So we got a lot going on. Next week is massive. We will see quite a bit of movement next week. So let's start here. Okay. So what do we have this week? What's coming next week? And then the order of this is going to be pretty structured. So we're gonna go through currencies first. We're gonna dial in on, well, first we'll start with fundamentals. Then we'll talk about forex pairs, so for currencies. From currencies, then we'll dive into metals, energy, commodities, etc. So oil, and then we will wrap up with indices, crypto, and stocks. So that'll be the order. Obviously, that's a lot. That's a lot. I do think we're gonna cross over an hour here. So let's just dive right in. Right now, so far, this week has already had. It's honestly, it was a slow start, really slow start, which I'm not too surprised about because of what we have coming next week. So I would expect a lot of build up and then like almost like a squeeze and release, and kind of have that happen as we carry on. So this week, as you guys can already see, we had yen news yesterday, we had Canadian news today, which by the way did really nothing. Like nothing happened. It was the most lame red folder. That tomorrow apparently we have dollar news, so this will be a bit of movement. CHF news as well, which by the way USDCHF, which was shared here over the last few weeks, this one did finally play out. Did anyone happen to sell USDCHF? Let me know, guys. Did anyone take this? We talked about this here for weeks, just waiting and waiting, and you could not have had a more precise entry. Actually, it was so precise that it might have been a problem because of spread, etc. So depending on whether you're market executor or take limits, but yeah. So for now, this is an idea that I did talk about here. So let me know if you guys took advantage of that or not. Maybe you had alerts set up. So keep me in the loop with that. Drop it in the chat. And then of course, so we have quite a bit, right? We have tomorrow some dollar news, some franc news. Really weird timing. This is really weird timing, to be honest, but it is what it is. And then CAD news. Now a big one will be Australian news tomorrow evening. So like 45 minutes before, and basically in like 23 hours, there will be Australian news. And this is a big one because you do have CPI, and not only CPI, the quarterly releases, which are about, as you can see here, 25 days after the quarter ends, but also you do have every month these are released as well. So there's a combination of CPI here. So I do believe we'll get some pretty big movement with AUD. So pretty interesting. If this is like the time where you can trade, then this is definitely, I would say this is a week where Asian session traders can take advantage for sure. So if this is the best schedule for you, definitely lock in on AUD pairs, yen pairs, and take a swing at it. Now Wednesday is a session definitely catered a bit more towards our London session traders. So you have Euro news, franc news again, and then we have dollar and Canadian dollar news. And then here we go again, yen news. This is a big one. Bank of Japan here, policy rates. This is going to be creating quite a bit of volatility. So This is the almost like the equivalent of kind of like FOMC, but for the yen. So yen is going to be quite a bit of volatility for sure. And then Thursday, more of the same, Canadian dollar news. And then finally, Friday, we have CHF CPI. So big volatility with CPI for CHF. And then you have the dollar news to wrap this up. Now, guys, we're talking about the classic NFP. NFP on November 1st. Not always, you don't always get these. So NFP this week. So, okay, a lot. I just said a lot, right? We just literally starting off and it's like, oh my God, there's a lot happening. So what do you do here? I obviously I have a lot more time on my hands, so I can trade a lot of this if I want to. But just so you guys have an example, I won't participate in any London session. I prefer to actually have some rest, and so I'll tackle on New York session, and then I'll probably be home for a lot of these AUD and yen moments. So we'll tackle these on. And if there isn't a setup already there, then I'm not going to be in front of the screen waiting for something to happen. So I want you guys to just think about that. Like, you want this to coexist with your life. You don't want this to take over your life. And also, you might be in a place where you're just learning how these things work. So you don't have to catch everything, and it's impossible to catch everything. And in reality, some things you do kind of have to just say no to in order to perform better for something else. So although there's a lot happening here, remember, there's going to be more opportunity another day, another week, another month, and another year. And so it's kind of like you got to pick and choose your battles when you're looking at all of these fundamentals and everything that's going on in your life. So remember, there's no scarcity of opportunity. There's so many chances, so many opportunities, so often. So it can be chaotic, but organize yourself, prepare yourself, set alerts or alarms with the timings, and then also use alerts on your trading view. You can find out what setups work best for you, what you like and what you're waiting to see, and then just take advantage of those moments. So just relax, no reason to worry here. Now events are next week. And here's where we have Tuesday's elections. The US elections go down on Tuesday, and this very well can have quite a bit of a shakeup in the markets. Not only that, guys, this right here, Tuesday's elections, honestly just might set up Wednesday, depending on when things go down, depending on how this goes, and this can really go in a lot of different ways. But depending on how this goes, if we get news of certain elections, let's say, for example, someone becomes a president after the stock market, which I think it actually is how it's going to go, then Wednesday's New York Open might be absolutely insane. And you can take a look at, maybe we'll do this next Monday. Next Monday I'll be in Mexico. I don't think I'll be streaming next week. Unfortunate for you guys, huh? We'll see what happens. Maybe I can leave a recording or something. But the markets can open, the stock market will open in a very chaotic fashion, which will influence indice markets and the dollar in general. But this honestly would probably set up FOMC. And what are the chances that you have interest rates, the FOMC statement, and the press conference 2 days after? There is no coincidence. Because here's the thing, guys, and this is done on purpose. The last FOMC that we got was September 18th. And so we're actually due for FOMC. Technically, we're kind of due for this Wednesday. But instead of doing it this Wednesday, they're going to do it after elections, which makes sense. You have a completely different regime that's expected. They're able to position themselves quite a bit differently. So, what do I think is going to happen with? I think we're going to keep dropping with these rates. So this should probably keep going down. Will you avoid holding positions due to gaps when the market opens after the elections? Positions that are still close to entry. Yeah, I would rather have market executions because for sure, guys, with elections, your stop losses can be jumped. If you have a stop loss in place, believe me, depending on what the scenario is, it can get pretty chaotic. I remember blowing an account. It was like really early on for me, super early on, and I think I was trading like GBP USD, and obviously I have no idea what I was doing. But I remember trading this, and I didn't have much money in this account. I just didn't have much money, period. But I remember watching Brexit go down, and it was just insane. Now, we have to go back quite a bit for this. Let's go back a few years. It's actually crazy. I'm thinking about it now. Like, I've been doing this for some time. But looking back at like Brexit was just nuts. I think it was over here somewhere. Was it this? Yeah, I think it was this over here. So like, for example, here, this is just an example of how chaotic things can get. So take a look at this. It was basically going into, was it going into Asian session? And then the market just drops in a matter of 8 hours. We see the market drop 1,800 pips. You know what I mean? Like, come on, what? That's madness. 1,800 pips. And this is forex pairs. You know what I'm saying? It's not Bitcoin. It's not indices. It's just good old GU. And so, like, look how massive this looks and just relevant to here. So, yeah, you want to be mindful in a lot of these moments. It was just in a moment. It was in an instant. And then, boom, volatility. So, yeah, the franc crashes from 2015 were absolutely insane. A lot of, the franc, those were crazy. And then, I mean, even going back to Trump getting elected, that was pretty nuts as well. So, and you can just look at whether it's indices, whether it's currency pairs, but yeah, so there can be quite a bit that happens. And I mean, even look at what happened, and this isn't that crazy, but I think it was gold. Gold gapped pretty aggressively, just to start the week. Where are we at here? Was it a gap or did it just keep dropping? Where are we? Yeah, right over here. So even here, I mean, gold gap down. I think it was like 125 pips. That's pretty big. If you have a stop in here, like you just got jumped and then now you're getting stopped out here. So what I would be mindful of when it comes down to trading, especially next week, is just if you're gonna trade very small stop losses, please be careful. Just definitely don't take big lot size positions, even if it's proper risk reward. When it comes to news, do you enter after news? No, I trade like if I'm already news. I'm not so afraid of usually. Like I don't really mind. I like volatility, but this is different. This is not just news. This is like the biggest news. So normal news events, I'm not really too worried about, but I'll trade through them. I'm not even looking really, like, we already have the setups before news already comes anyways. Like the way that I teach you guys how to look at the market. So it's not really a big deal. But this is another level. All right, so anyways, with all that being said, obviously a lot to be ready for, and we'll have a better look at some of the big moves that we could see happen by the end of the week. By the end of the week, we'll have a very, very good outlook. And you know what I'll do? Because here's the thing, guys. I am flying out to Mexico on Friday. And so I'll find the time to make a video on kind of what I think we can expect for elections across like the bigger, the bigger things, the gold and indices, crypto, maybe a couple pairs. But yeah, I would say be mindful of limits. Like you can get obliterated if you leave a limit open and you just get stopped out. So I'd say market execute. If you have some swing trades, then make sure you're already running in your favor pretty well. If you want to let those run, there's risk and there's reward. So keep that in mind. Okay, now let's dive into it. So tomorrow we start things off with the dollar, and then we have CHF, CAD, and Australian news. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go through the USD currency pairs. And that's what we're going to talk about right now, and we'll see where that takes us. Now remember, the DXY here, this is a reflection of your dollar pairs. That's all the DXY is. This is the mirror. This is not like what runs it. This is just a reflection of it. And the majority of what we see happen here with the DXY is actually much more Euro USD than anything else, to be honest. Like Euro USD is the majority of what this is. So dollar's at a point where I feel like we're starting to lose a lot of steam here. So we could see the dollar start to teeter off. Today wasn't too much going on today. Today was a really mellow day. I think we got back up here again, started to lose momentum, but whatever. To me, I don't really care too much for the DXY. Now AUDUSD, interesting. We've kept working our way down here, and we finally got to this area that we haven't been at since I think it was mid-August. So mid-August here, we do have this sell-off, which clears out quite a bit of retail buys, and then from here we do see a rally and a continuation, and we got pretty close on Sunday, and then now we finally actually get into the zone here. So looking at AUDUSD and whether it's like, okay, do I want to take a buy here? We're in the right time frame, right? It's the Asian session, Australian session, so it makes sense for there to be volatility here. And then, well, I mean, you can kind of just check in. So AUDUSD playing into August 14th price action. You can take a look at NZD, and NZD USD also has already played below this, so AUDUSD could play out. That's a option. Euro USD well below all of that already anyways, and GU hasn't quite gotten to these areas, and it's basically the same setup. So here GU is nowhere near filling the rest of this imbalance. So AUDUSD does have some potential, but we got to go back. We've gone back so far, and when I personally don't like to just look at just the pair. Like, oh, here's AUD, it's the zone, let me buy or let me sell. And it's a little bit more tedious, but I do like to be mindful of what other setups could have a similar setup. What else is Australian dollar influencing? So could there be other opportunities like actually mentioned here, Euro AUD, GBP AUD? So when you see something like this, you go, oh, AUDUSD is a pretty good setup. Okay, well, let's see what else the Australian dollar is influencing. Is there other moments that they can get over to? But Euro AUD has to get all the way up here. That's a mission. We're so far from that. Okay, is there even a point of even looking at this? GBP AUD is just completely different setup as well. So as you're looking at this, some of these you go, you know what, these aren't even that correlated. And if you want to know what setups are the most correlated, then you can check in on like my FX book has a cool correlations tool that you guys can take a look at. So here you can just click on what pair you're looking at, and you want to just see, is there anything that kind of trades alongside it, and see what makes the most sense. So here on the daily, you have things like on the daily time frame, NZDCHF, NZDCAD. You could take a look at those, but these are so entirely different. Is there even a point? Not really. So in this example with AUDUSD, I think it's worth taking a shot at if this is something that makes sense to you. I think that trades like this, where you're so far, like it's been so long, some of these trades you might want to just open up your stop a little bit, and then you also just want to be mindful of if there's any other imbalances or anything like that happening. So here, you know, as we zoom into the smaller time frames, and now we're looking at like the 1 hour, market has already got to this level, and it's actually started to reject this pretty well. So you can clearly see the market's it's starting to push over here. You know, we had a nice, and this is a small zone, right? So this thing drops, I mean, less than 15 pips. So a reversal of 15 pips, in my opinion, would be the mitigation, right? Here would be, okay, we closed out those sells from a couple months ago, and the money from those sells is used to pump price up here. So those kind of scenarios are definitely, you know, there. And then if you go, you know what, I don't really want to trade something that's so far back, then definitely don't. And there's one more clue that you can use, which is futures. So you can take a look at futures and see if did the market, when it got so close here on Sunday, did it already play out of here? Because remember, guys, you have all the power in your hands. You choose what risks you want to take and which ones you don't. So for example, you look at futures here, and you might notice that, let's say the market maybe already played out of this zone, you know, a couple days ago or something. This might have already happened on, you know, on Sunday when we talked about those that drop. So could we already have gotten the reversal a couple days ago? Did that happen yesterday? Okay, you can dive into it. You know, we can go look at futures here, take a deeper look, because unfortunately there is that kind of difference between the data feeds on futures and the data feeds on, I guess it didn't do what I wanted it to do. That's great. And CFDs. So for example, here, this is on that August, where the market sells off from here, then pops off. We're now getting to the smallest of time frames to really see where things go down. And when we look at this, AUDUSD actually sells off from like right here. Here's where this news event goes down, sweeps the lows, and then pops off. If you want to go even closer, you can go over to here. You can get literally to the smallest of time frames, and then now you can see, oh, here it sells off, and then it just goes crazy. So zooming back out again, what do we notice here? Interesting. So as you can see, with futures, we actually already rejected this zone. The market went up here, it already played off. Whereas here, when we saw it drop, this thing drops about, that's just around the same thing, 30 something pips, and then this pops off here, a little, just about 30. So you have to decide, did it already play out or not? And if you can't really get to a good conclusion, or if you have indecision, you go, man, should I play this or should I not play this? Does this make sense, or should I wait a little longer? Then it's like, okay, You know what? I'm just gonna take a trade where I feel more confident, and where my setup, it actually looks abundantly clear. And you can also do that. So in this example, as you guys can see, we're starting to see the market already play off of this. So I couldn't even give you the proper entry that I would want to, because this did start to reject about an hour ago. Had that been the case, then yeah, maybe we would already be in here, but it's not. And so one of the things you're gonna realize, and not just with me, but with people who've already been in the game for quite some time, people that are already consistent, they're getting great returns, are not just flipping accounts, but people that have that kind of longer term track record. You're going to realize that there's a lot of detachment to a opportunity. Well, it really depends on their system, but unless your trading system is set up so where like it's really rare for an opportunity, and once that happens, then you have to take that trade. Because there are some systems, guys, where, and it probably won't be anybody here, but there's like, for example, there's certain hedge funds where they're not taking very many investments, but if one of their setups, if one of their opportunities actually shows up and they're not able to take that one investment, that one trade could be what turns them into a profitable firm for the quarter or for the month. And so that's going to be pretty unlikely for most people here. I think majority of people in the retail environment, like at this I would say sub 100 million, basically sub a billion, we're not really at that place. There's a lot more frequency in opportunities. I'm sure most of you are trading over 20 times a month. So one opportunity that you miss or that you're not able to trigger shouldn't be the end of the world. Maybe eventually, you're at a point where you're not taking that many. Maybe you're only taking swing trades, position trades. Maybe you're just trading off of the extremes of the daily or the weekly or the monthly time frames. And but obviously this is not really the case. Now, are we at an extreme on a daily time frame? Yes. Right. We in AUDUSD, this is one of those examples where we are at the extremes of this zone. This was the low from August, from the last few months. So either way, but yeah, I just want to give you guys some perspective, and hopefully something that I just mentioned clicked for you. So let me go ahead and click this and close this here. I'm always so curious about the trading platforms the institutions use and the data they have available at their disposition. Yeah, different levels for sure. Okay, so cool. All that being said, actually, hold on. Going back to AUDUSD, there is an idea that I like here. So if you guys didn't see this earlier, you're seeing it now. But and also what I do want to add is, if you did take an AUDUSD buy, then if you did happen to take an entry here, because I know we had gone over this throughout the last couple months. Like I just briefly mentioned the zone. So let's say, for example, you did take a buy here. I did not. I actually just missed it. After all that time, I ended up missing it. But if you did snipe it, we're almost at that point where the market's, in my opinion, giving us that mitigation where the sell-off from the past is now clearly coming in. So I would be moving my stop to break even probably now. Okay, so anyways, while that's all happening, one thing that did happen here was that we did see a nice push. So we see price pop off here on Friday, and this takes out quite a bit of liquidity. So I do think that we can see a sell-off from here, because we had retail sellers, we had a nice sweep of the highs, and following that, the market pulls back. This here lures in buys one more time, and then once enough buyers are in the game again, then this rips and keeps on working its way lower. So here is a setup that I do think is for us here. So you have AUDUSD, and I think we can get a nice 3.5 R out of this at least. And this is based off of imbalance fill. So this looks nice. Do you trade all pairs? Some people say it's good to trade 1 to 2 pairs. Curious to know if you agree. I would say, okay, so great question. I do trade, I trade really anything that gives me my setup, but I am not most people, right? I don't have to go to a job. So I'm grateful that I have my own schedule that I build, and I enjoy the markets. I also have the experience to be able to organize myself and trade different markets and have different accounts. But I would say, should everyone be trading everything from the start? No. I think that anyone that wants to just really get better at this, you can probably really focus on indices, like whether you're trading futures or CFDs, trading US 30, NASDAQ, S&P. So yeah, dialing in on those, because the reason I bring those up specifically is because I do think that on small time frames, you can apply what you've learned here, and you can just see so many opportunities so often. Because in the beginning, what you want to do is you want to sharpen the knife, right? You want to get in the repetitions. You want to experience the markets, the entries, the exits, the risk management, the emotions. You want to go through the entire process so that you can learn from it, so you can realize what you need to work on. And you don't need to look at tons of different things in order to get that. Now, I'm in a different place because one, I also, you guys asked me to look at a lot of different things, so I do. And then two, my lifestyle is in position where I can. So those are why I do that. So it depends on the skill level, it depends on experience, but for the most part, I would say that you want to just trade what you can manage and what allows you to still have peace. Because if you're going to get stressed or overwhelmed because you're looking at too much, then there's no point. It's not serving you anymore. And definitely, more trading doesn't mean more money. It could mean more mistakes. It's more exposure to the market. So you have to know yourself quite a bit in order to do that. And there's some people that, they can trade really anything and often, but also those people might not be influenced too much emotionally. They might have just a lot of detachment to outcomes, and they're just putting their system into opportunities more frequently. Okay, cool. So here's AUDUSD. Feel free to lock in on this one. I'm gonna go ahead and I can share this to you guys. So I'll go ahead and I'll drop this in my Telegram. I'm gonna do a big drop here in a sec. Hold on. So here you guys go. Just if you want to get these, then just join this. Or not. Hold on. I totally didn't copy. Oh no, I don't need a QR code. Or I guess, yeah, here. You guys can just scan this, I guess. There you go. Scan that real quick. You can pause it, scan it, or not. Okay. Here you go. So, anyways, I'll drop everything here at the end. Can we get to 100 today? This took me to a different site. Really? Where did it take you? Where did it take you? That is weird. Gold in the mix. Okay, we'll get it to gold in a bit. Now from here, guys, I'm just gonna look at majors. As you can see, AUDUSD and NZDUSD have oh no, Mike, why is it asking me for my credit card? Nah, y'all are playing. Okay. Took me to Telegram. Y'all are funny. Hey, I'll take donations, sure. Alright. NZDUSD, I'm chilling. Euro USD, I've taken none of these, and apparently they're playing out, but I'm not really in an environment. I don't like how how Euro is moving to trade it. I'd rather just stay out of the market. It's pretty indecisive here. Same thing with GU. A lot of liquidity, a lot of sellers joining here. It's failing to really stay above these highs. So GU still attempting to go bullish, but in my opinion, actually just luring in more so sellers. At some point we might clear this all up, but that doesn't mean that we can't drop first. So for the most part, chilling here. Now this is the setup that I've been waiting for a while. We've briefly gone over this basically every Monday for 2 months. So finally it went down here and we are sitting at entry. So USDCAD, if this is a setup that you like, then, and maybe you just missed it, well, here you have it. And we are here now. So USDCAD, I think there's so much money. So much money here. This was so exponential. There is no pullbacks. I do think there is quite a bit of liquidity sitting here. Plus, I think we're bearish just overall. I think we're overall in a daily time frame bearish market. We got a very deep pullback, but I do think we're overall bearish. So I do like this here. So I know a lot of you are in USDCAD, especially those of you that are members of the community. You guys are kind of just waiting. You're with me on this one. You're just waiting for this to go down to go, when is it gonna happen? So here's what we have going on so far. USDCAD. So let's see, USDCAD. Okay. And then, apparently I copied AUDUSD wrong. One sec. Cool. All right, so going back to USDCAD, and to look at just the price action that we've seen so far, as you guys can see, we have squeezed quite a bit. So Friday to end the day, Sunday, Monday, we have basically been just building up sideways. So what could this mean? What could this mean for us? Now, in my opinion, the longer we're moving sideways like this, guys, the more we move sideways, up and down and up and down and up and down, the more explosive the movement's going to be. That could mean that we experience brief moments where we get above these levels and then come crashing down, or that could mean that we just finally work our way down and really start to fall off. So I think collectively it seems like a lot of us are in USDCAD, and let's just see how this plays out. Now, I like that it's moving sideways, because what this shows us is that a decision will be made. I would say New York session, we will see movement. And I don't know about you guys, but I would rather have one explosive movement and be done with it, whether it's against us and you just lose, -1 risk, or because there's so much volatility, that means that, or so much liquidity, consolidation, squeezing, that when the market finally does break out, then it could mean a very good risk reward for us. So I actually like when the market squeezes, because it is a sign that we're going to get a lot more movement, and that just shows that you can get quite a bit of a risk reward. Okay, cool. So USDCAD, this one's already lined up. USDCAD, no stop loss, all gas, no brakes. Oh man, Adrian, you wilding out. USDCHF, as we talked about, this is a setup we had for a while, and then it was literally a perfect snipe, absolutely no drawdown. Go back in the recordings if you want. Go look through this one. This one we pinpointed. Honestly, like, this level of precision is definitely partly luck. So yes, there's skill to this, but at this point, I mean, sometimes you just get this lucky and it looks this nice. But what I will say is that the way in which the market set up, we swept some highs here and then came crashing down, and now we're starting to trade below the previous low that we had here. So because the market's moving like this, I do think this is setting up for something pretty nice. So I think we could see another sell-off with USDCHF up here. So I don't know when this could happen. We might go lower first, but we definitely clear some highs and then drop. And if we can really trade below these lows for some time, then yeah, this would be epic. So we'll see another sell here, I think, coming soon. And this one would be nice. I have an alert set here, so I have an alert at 0.8682 or 81. And then I think a sell, I'd like a sell like right around here. This is actually a much better trade because the risk reward is so much better. Here the stop was almost 50 pips. In this example, this is going to be a little over 12 pips. And this could travel, I have this going at least to 85.50. So now this trade is over a 10 risk reward compared to a 3 risk reward. So, that's kind of the beauty of the market. Sometimes you feel like you missed an entry or you missed out, but in reality, it actually might be setting up for something even greater. Dylan asks, what's better, a 1 pip stop loss trade at 1 to 1,000 or catching 1,000 pips on one trade? I can say that I've never done a 1 pip stop loss trade at 1 to 1,000. I'm assuming you're saying like 1,000 risk reward. But I have caught 1,000 pips. So yeah, I would rather catch a 1,000 risk reward trade all day. That's insane. I don't think I've never done that. I think I've done 1 to 100 once. I've done 1 to 50, like a 50 risk reward a few times. Once with crypto, a few times trading, but even then those were under leveraged for sure. But a full blown position, I've only done, I think, like 1 to 50 or 1 to 100. And I don't know, it's really rare. It's so extremely rare. Those aren't my goal. That's not really my goal either. Like, if a whole bunch of things align, then they can happen. If natural gas plays out the way I think it will, then that'll be another 1 to 50. But that one's going to take probably another year or two. Let's see. We had some good ones this year. We had USDCAD in January. That trade was, I think, like 1 to 24. Yeah, it depends. You really got to be catching extremes. Like, you got to be on the 886 pullback on kind of like the daily or the weekly, and then you get an entry on like the 5-minute time frame, and you catch the whole move. They're epic. I've seen them, but what I will say is this, guys. What you see online, someone might drop a chart, an analysis, and there was like a 3-pip stop, and they caught however many, 300 pips, but did their entire position size catch all of that? And also you have to think about how many losses did you take in order to get there. So, you know. But, all right, we can move on. So from there, we have USDJPY, which I'm not doing anything with USDJPY right now. I'm chilling here. I do think there's a buy opportunity down here, and even then, this is not my favorite idea. There's other yen pairs that I think have better, just overall look a lot better for trading. So I wouldn't be too focused on this. And yeah, you use just DJPY for at least the way I trade. It's not what I'm looking for. Now, with that being said, because there is, what's this? What alert just went off? Gold. Oh, okay. Here we go. I was like, that was trippy. The second that I switched to this chart, the alert came on. Like, that was God? You know, like, what are the chances? That's okay, cool. So yeah, gold here. All right, I see you. Duly noted. So basically, Wednesday we had, during London session, a sweep of the highs, clears out a little bit of liquidity resistance. The market then reverses, and then obviously you guys saw the absolute meltdown that happened on Wednesday, London session going into New York session. We were blessed enough to catch the buy here, so we caught a nice 5R on this buy movement. If you survived all of this, then you caught another however many. It looks like more, probably around a 10R. I know some of you caught re-entries, so I wasn't able to take the buy here. I wanted it to go a little bit lower, but this did play off the zone and continued. But anyways, with all that being said, I did have this drawn up for gold, where I wanted possible sells inside of this imbalance over here. So clearing this consolidation, getting above that, and then falling off. But also, I did have a setup with silver. And silver's been a lot slower. A lot slower to work its way higher. And so silver, I have a sell idea as well that I think we could see go down. So, what to do, huh? Now, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for silver. I know, it's not gold. I know. But here we had the sweep of this liquidity and the continuation to the downside. We end up trading below, and then on Friday we end up just trading down here the whole time. We close down here, the day comes back up, and then we end up coming right back down. So I still like silver to close out this buy and then sell from this zone. So I'm waiting for silver here, and gold's gonna be probably coming into the zone like right now. So I understand if people would prefer to sell gold. I think way more people trade gold than they trade silver. So silver is literally here now. I see the opportunity. I get you. If this makes sense for you, you're a gold trader and this is your setup. I would, if I wasn't for silver, if it wasn't for the setup I see with silver, then gold looks like an awesome trade. But I can see silver still working its way a bit higher. And if silver does take out these previous highs right here and gets into this zone, that might just keep taking gold higher and actually break and make all-time highs again. So I personally am not going to take this gold setup. but I would understand if some of you did. At the end of the day, you trade your system, you trade what makes sense for you. I here am doing what makes sense for me. But the setup is there for those of you that saw it. Clears the highs, works its way lower, obviously, it creates a bearish structure. There's imbalance here right now. What I will say is that you are looking at around a 40-50 pip stop. And then for me, silver is still not even at the zone yet. It's getting there. It's actually getting very close. And we're almost there. This idea, why aren't you taking the sells on gold? You're probably lagging behind or something. But the reason I'm looking at, I'm looking to sell silver, not gold. These are correlated pairs. And so they obviously, you can see they move very similarly. And right now we can see that silver is the weaker bull, which means that, but when these drop, silver has been dropping much more aggressively. So I would sell, I'm going to sell silver and I'm not going to sell gold. And we'll see what happens. So as of right now, your boy is chilling. I'm going to set an alert. I'm going to set an alert up here to see when gold, if gold clears these highs, which I think it's going to. And then, yeah, but I'll stay patient. And here's the thing too, guys. There's definitely trades that I miss out on, and they do play out. But I'm okay with that because I've seen a lot of trades when I keep in mind this correlation, the divergence between these correlated pairs, and I take the one that's lagging behind. I've seen these win and just not stop me out so many times. You know, how many times have you guys seen like a smart money setup and it didn't work for you, but it was only because there was another pair that looked very similar and that one did. So that's kind of the example here for today. So actually, for those of you that are on our Trade Ideas app, I'm gonna go ahead and send out a reminder there that we are in fact approaching silver. So silver almost in zone. Please check trade idea from Friday. Cool. Very close. Technically, it already got into the area. So if it were to sell off from here and not trigger me in, then that's valid. So right now, yeah, let's see what silver wants to do. All right, so silver's still climbing, and then basically at this point, when the market's already over here, and you wanted to take positions, even now, if you wanted to, you technically could. I know some people like to kind of scale into their trades, open up multiple positions. Let's say you start small, and then as you get to like where you really want to go, then you get a little bit bigger, keeping in mind the overall risk that you want to take. So, you know, everyone's a little different with that. Cool. All right, so let's see, what's gold doing? Is gold already dropping? It is not. All right. I feel like this is going to be the right choice. Yep, gold just activated for me. The crying emoji, oh no. Well, we'll see. We shall see. All right, so here's silver. So YouTube, stream, ideas. This one about to trigger. We'll send the rest once we're done streaming. All right. So if you did join that Telegram, then you should be getting a notification right now. Okay. All right, let's move on. If this goes up more, then cool. If not, then cool. All right. So that about does it for metals. I'm going to go ahead and slide into... Okay, so let's look at crypto real quick. BTC says 70 mil. Oh, I read it in English. 70 mil. I was like, 70 million? What are you talking about? Yeah, 70K. 70, almost 7,500. Look at that. Insane. That's so sick. So, yeah, Bitcoin is just on a rampage right now. And to be honest, the way this was dropping in the moment, I was almost ready for us to keep going lower. And obviously we haven't yet. But I will say the total market caps look a lot different than Bitcoin itself. Like Bitcoin, guys, if you guys haven't seen what is called the total market cap, and I don't know how many of you are in crypto, I think I would say don't ignore it for sure. There's a lot of opportunity here, but the total market cap, which just shows like the overall crypto space, and something called Bitcoin dominance. Let me see if I can pull this up for you guys. Basically, Bitcoin is just gaining more and more and more dominance over the entire market as a whole. That's what we're seeing happen right now. Like just more and more and more. And this is normal. This is what happens all the time. So during the cycles, especially during the beginning of these like bullish cycles, these Bitcoin will just take over the market. And we're seeing that happen here, right? It happened in 2019, 2020, where the market just went absolutely berserk. It just went insane. And so right now, I think we're seeing more of the same, where Bitcoin is taking over and it's leading more and more of the movement. And if you guys ever heard of the concept called alt season, where the altcoins start to just go absolutely insane, you guys heard of that before? If you haven't, then we're almost there, where where Bitcoin is just leading, is dominating the market so much that it's about ready to not sell off, but to give more power to the altcoins. So at some point, we're going to see Bitcoin stop really dominating the entire market cap, and then the other coins will start to take over the crypto market a bit more, until we saw here in the past. We saw at one point Bitcoin get under 40% of the total market cap, whereas right now it's closer to 60. And I think we'll keep going. I think we'll keep going probably over 65, maybe over into 66, and then from here things will start. So right now I think we'll see a lot more aggressive movement with Bitcoin, and it'll just kind of keep leading the pack, and then eventually I think we'll see all of this drop off. But anyways, just wanted to give you guys an example of how like Bitcoin just gains a lot of strength, and it will probably keep doing so for a bit longer. So at this point, I think we might get all-time highs before we see elections here, and here's why. I don't really see what's going to stop this anymore. At this point, what is going to get in the way? There's liquidity at 72K. So why not take that out now? Maybe that's it. We might take out 72 and then get some pullbacks. I could see that. But I think we push for 72. This will probably happen. I would not be surprised if this happens today, within the next 24 hours. So, yeah, pretty interesting stuff here. Now, here's the thing, and I want you guys to look at this. So Bitcoin's going crazy. Meanwhile, for whatever reason, Ethereum just isn't loading on Coinbase data feed. Okay. But look at this. ETH is just slowly working its way up. Slowly but surely. Like, we have so much more to go up. ETH hasn't gone back to just even last Sunday's, not yesterday, but the Sunday before that. It's just been slow, super slow. And that's kind of what's been happening right now with the crypto market, is that Bitcoin is just doing Bitcoin things, and then everything else is like, yo, dude, chill. Like, nothing else is moving at the same pace. Sol is pumping pretty decent. But yeah, a lot is just not at that same aggressive, bullish push. So yeah, I'm curious to see how things go. And because of that same reason, I think we're going to see Bitcoin just keep going, because a lot of these other altcoins just haven't really pushed at that same aggressive pace. So yeah, Sol here clearing 180. I think Sol will probably get a good reversal once we get above 184. So I'd say going into 184, 185, maybe 188, we'll start to see Solana give some reversals around here. And then there we go. Here's total market cap. Pushing through. What a beast. And then Bitcoin about to tap 71. Like I said, there's just nothing stopping this right now. Let's see here. I wonder if we'll hit 71 while we're on the stream. All right, so let me cycle back here, guys, because there's still a little bit more that I wanted to cover. I know I'm starting to lose some of your attentions here, but but let's look at oil real quick, and then we'll look at indices, and then we'll call it a day. So oil right now, guys, we finally got to the zone where I wanted buys. I wanted some nice reversals from this zone, and we're finally here. So we did get into this area, and this is interesting because similarly, if you're looking at oil with CFDs, so data feeds from these other brokers, then it looked like it tapped this zone on the 18th of October. But when we looked at oil on futures, so these are data feeds from regulated sources, in this case from this source, then we could see that we didn't quite get to this area. We did not, in fact, mitigate this sell-off from the 1st of October. So it took quite a bit longer. And so I do think that we are actually now truly going to mitigate for the first time, and we are sitting at 71,000 Bitcoin apparently, or at least we wicked it. Epic. I think we're gonna get a gold. I think gold's gonna break that high here pretty soon. Looks like it's about to get there. So yeah, silver positions, guys. I think we're at a great place for silver sells now. What do you guys think? How do you guys see silver playing out here? Let me go ahead and pull up this idea from over here. Okay, so XAGUSD, so okay, so let's see if it does it. But with oil, and I'll get back to that, but I did just market execute and sell silver. So with oil, again, this sells off so aggressively where I think that we can get a nice reversal from here. And also looking at structure, you know, we are 4 hour making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, and then we pull all the way back, And as we look at oil this way, and we also look at this from, you know, you can look at this from higher standpoints, but when on the daily, oil cracks below quite a bit of buyers and price just struggles to stay down here. Comes up again, crashes all the way down, struggles to stay here, drops again, comes all the way up again. So time and time again, we're just seeing how US oil is really struggling to maintain prices below, really below 67.25, 67 in general. We've wicked under these levels, but it really struggles to stay down here. And so I do think we can get a nice swing trade. I'm looking for a little over a 5 risk reward and to take this up to just not even to make higher highs. That's not even pushing it too far. Just to trade within this range and to clear out some of this imbalance, some of this liquidity left behind. If we really wanted to take this to a new high, then I would take this around 80. But it's not even necessary. That's the best part. To get risk reward, great risk rewards, you can stay trading within the structure that you're in and get some pretty good outcomes. So yeah, that's how I'm seeing this right now. I am in an oil buy, and we'll see what happens next. But that is US oil. So this trade in reality actually ended up taking it right here. So a 3R would be a little bit lower. And with all the liquidity here, and we'll see kind of how gold drops as well. This might go further down, but we'll see. But yeah, here's US oil. I market executed silver sells, by the way. Okay. All right. Now that leaves us at our final steps here, which is indices. Indices here, and I'm gonna zoom out. I'm gonna start zoomed out quite a bit, and then we'll go into it. Okay. So here's how I see this. We are we've been extremely bullish with US 30. We'll start things off here, right? We'll start things off with US 30. And obviously this has just been an absolute rampage. Very efficient price action, I would say, up until August. After August, we do have some pretty aggressive price action. So I don't think we came back to clean up US 30 from September's price action. Oddly enough, September 11th's drop and then the continuation. So yeah, we didn't really get back to that. And then also, if you look at how this is going, I mean, there's imbalance down here too. So US 30, I do think has quite a bit of room to drop. So we'll see what happens there. I think we can work our way down. As of right now, I'm not too dialed in on this yet. With elections, we will see how this goes. We'll have a better look at this as the week progresses. Whether are we going to get some massive sell-offs? Are we going to go and make all-time highs again? What's it going to be? So we'll see here soon. But what I do want to go over is what it's looking like right now. So as we go into the current structures, in my opinion, I do think we have higher highs, higher lows. We work our way higher up into this range to make another high here. Mellow pullbacks, nothing too aggressive. So really, this is the range that we're in, and we've pulled back deeply. Imbalance fills. We reject this right away, and then now we've rallied from here. So very efficient. US 30, extremely efficient price action. Imbalance taken care of. And now we're at a point where what happens next? And there's some pretty key zones. There's some pretty key zones here that I think, oh, my bad. I was looking for this one. So there's some pretty key sell areas that we still haven't gotten to, and we can definitely get to here shortly. So as you guys are zooming in with me, you can see that there is a bullish push before the drop here on US 30. Haven't gotten that yet, and we were actually waiting. There was another setup right here, but today, as we were watching US 30 and NASDAQ do its thing, I just didn't feel very confident that this high was going to hold up. It seemed like indices in general, that US 30 was kind of leading the bullish wave first. So I was okay with kind of staying out of the market for the time being. So we're chilling there. All right, chilling. And even now, we'll see what this looks like tomorrow, because US 30 definitely has sell-offs that it can make here, because there's just buy positions open all over here, just everywhere. And overall structure right now is bearish. So selling, these can be just one of those moments where they crack above briefly and then keep working their way down. So that's at least with US 30, what that's looking like. Now, NASDAQ has been making bullish structure. So these are kind of at a totally different pace. Higher highs, higher lows. Very briefly do we trade down here as well. And then we keep working our way higher. We push up until the zone. And right now, I mean, we've definitely left here. The market cleared these lows and rallied. And then also we cleared lows and left imbalances. So I do think that there's motive for NAS to drop off before it continues. But if it doesn't do that, then we do have quite the sell-off that we've been waiting for here with NASDAQ for quite some time, and which is right up here from the July 11th. July 11th, we spike up and then come down. So similar, you guys can just go mark that up. You can go zoom in here and look at that, and you can see what I'm seeing. The only difference is this, is that, well, what's price action looking like? Is NASDAQ just going to keep on pushing bullish? Is US 30 going to be, because you want to look at the daily, like the price action during that day as well. It'll really matter if you're making decisions like this. So right now, obviously nothing's really happening between indices, but once New York session comes along, is NASDAQ just pushing really aggressively to the upside and US 30 is more slow, or vice versa? And those are the things that I keep in mind. That's why, like, in the mornings we trade live together. I break down what's happening. I'm explaining, okay, look guys, we have NASDAQ leading the bullish movement, or we have US 30, and which setup has a better chance of staying within the structure. So that, at least for me, has helped so much, is just being mindful of what's kind of like the personality of the session and which indice is more bearish or bullish for that, for that time, because it does make a pretty big difference. For now, I will say that these are moving differently, right? These indices are not moving in complete perfect correlation in the moment. I feel like eventually they regulate and they kind of meet in the middle, but right now I do think you can kind of approach them relatively independently. And yeah, so yeah, we'll wrap up there, guys. Obviously, crypto is going crazy right now. Specifically, Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just relatively pumping so much compared to other coins. Percentage-wise, obviously, it's not going to make insane growth, but when you compare it to what the chart looks like, yeah, it's picking up quite a bit of speed. But with that being said, relating back to stocks, GME with a big pump today, but Boeing dropping some more big moves. Wouldn't be surprised if we see Boeing start to pop off soon. But we won't go into too much on the stock side of things today. I don't think it's really necessary. And but yeah, so silver right now is active for a sell. USDCAD for me is active for a sell, and oil is active for me for a buy. And I'll leave you guys with that. I hope you guys are able to, manage your trades effectively, and I hope to see you guys here on this, week to week. I am in oil. Cool. Awesome. All right, guys. Thanks for everything. I love how engaged the chat was. We definitely had a uptick here in just everyone involved. So keep plugging in. I hope you keep learning, make quality decisions, think long term, and just enjoy it. I would say I'll leave you guys with one thing, is be honest with where you're at and what you need to work on. You may have good technical skills, you may have good discipline, you may have good patience, and there's other things that maybe just aren't where they need to be. And so I think you just have to be willing to accept kind of where you're at, and only when you can do those things can you get better. So even at this point, like, I've been doing this for a long time, but there's just so many different ways I keep getting better at this, which is amazing. The spread on silver is crazy. Yeah, definitely depends on your broker, so might not be the friendliest for everyone. But yeah, guys, much love.